The Courage to be Disliked is a book based on Adlerian psychology, a school of thought that challenges many beliefs we hold about happiness, trauma, approval, and self-worth. The book is written as a dialogue between a philosopher and a young man, but its message is direct and deeply practical. True freedom begins when we stop living to please others. The central idea of this book is that most human suffering comes from the desire to be approved of. We shape our behavior, silence our truth, and betray our values because we are afraid of being rejected, judged, or disliked. The book argues that happiness does not come from being accepted by everyone, but from having the courage to live according to our own principles. One of the most challenging ideas in the book is that we are not controlled by our past. Contrary to popular belief, Adlerian psychology says that trauma does not dictate our future. Instead, our present behavior is shaped by the meaning we assign to our experiences. We are not victims of what happened to us. We are authors of the story we continue to tell ourselves about it. The book explains that people do not behave the way they do because of what happened to them, but because of what they are trying to achieve emotionally. Every behavior has a purpose. For example, anger is often used as a tool to control others, and avoidance is often used to escape responsibility. When we understand this, we stop seeing ourselves as broken and start seeing ourselves as capable of change. Another key idea is the concept of separating tasks. The book teaches that many conflicts arise because we take responsibility for things that are not ours. Your task is how you live, how you behave, and how you choose. Other people's task is how they feel, how they judge, and how they react. When we try to control others' opinions or emotions, we lose our freedom. When we separate tasks clearly, relationships become healthier and lighter. The book also challenges the belief that we must be special to be valuable. It explains that the desire to feel superior or inferior both come from the same place: comparison. True confidence comes from contribution, not competition. When we stop measuring our worth against others and instead focus on being useful and connected, our sense of belonging grows naturally. One of the most liberating messages of the book is that being disliked is not a failure. It is evidence that you are living authentically. If you live honestly, you will inevitably disappoint some people. Trying to avoid that only leads to resentment, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. The book teaches that freedom is the courage to be disliked, and happiness is the result of living in alignment with your values rather than seeking validation. When you stop living for approval, you stop living in fear. How to apply it in real life? Step by step, the first practical step is to identify where approval is controlling your behavior. Pay attention to moments when you feel tension before speaking, when you rehearse what you will say to avoid upsetting someone, or when you agree to something that makes you uncomfortable. These moments reveal where your fear of being disliked is directing your choices. The second step is to practice separating tasks in real situations. When someone reacts negatively to your decision, pause internally and ask yourself, is their reaction my responsibility? If the answer is no, allow them to feel disappointed without trying to fix it. This does not mean being cold or disrespectful. It means allowing others to own their emotions instead of carrying them for them. The third step is to change how you respond to guilt. When you feel guilty for saying no or setting a boundary, do not immediately reverse your decision. Instead, sit with the discomfort and remind yourself that guilt often appears when you stop people-pleasing. Discomfort does not mean you did something wrong. It often means you did something new. The fourth step is to replace approval-seeking questions with freedom-based questions. Instead of asking, "What will they think of me?" ask, "What kind of person do I want to be in this moment?" This shifts your focus from external validation to internal integrity. The fifth step is to practice being disliked in small, safe ways. Start by expressing a different opinion respectfully, declining a request without over-explaining, or choosing what you genuinely want, even when others may disagree. Each small act builds emotional strength and reduces fear. The sixth step is to stop comparing yourself to others. When comparison appears, redirect your attention to contribution. Ask yourself how you can be useful, present, or kind in the situation rather than impressive. Contribution creates belonging without self-betrayal. The seventh step is to accept that tension in relationships is not always a sign of failure. Healthy relationships allow disagreement. If someone distances themselves because you stopped living for their approval, that does not mean you lost something valuable. It means you stopped abandoning yourself. The final step is to redefine success. Success is no longer being liked by everyone, being praised, or being needed. Success becomes acting in alignment with your values, speaking honestly, setting boundaries, and sleeping peacefully at night knowing you are authentic. And daily practice, very simple, very effective. At the end of each day, ask yourself 3 questions. Did I act according to my values today? Did I take responsibility only for what was mine? Did I choose honesty over approval at least once? If the answer is yes to even one of these, you are practicing the courage to be disliked. The courage to be disliked is not about rejecting others. It is about finally choosing yourself without guilt. When you stop living for approval, your life becomes lighter, clearer, and more honest. If this helped you, subscribe and like this video to support the channel, and comment below with the book you want next, because growth becomes stronger when we walk it together.